never too old to try to do good.
Tonight, we want to introduce you to Opal Lee, the 93-year-old activist and lifelong Texan who has campaigned to make June 19th a national holiday for years.
If you tell her that you have a need, she's gonna meet it, and she's gonna go to anybody that she can think of that can meet that need.
But she figures out how to do it, and she stays with it until she gets it done.
If we were to document all those differences, all those times that she's made a difference, we would run out of paper with Opal Lee.
She really is what a tapestry of community work looks like at 94.
She's a trailblazer, and she has this sense of you keep going no matter what.
What heroism is someone that goes over and above, all right, the call of duty to do something for someone else.
I'm Opal Lee. I've had these passions.
The Community Food Bank.
Opal's Farm.
United Riverside.
And one of them is Juneteenth.
Good afternoon. My name is Andre Joyner, Senior Vice President for JCPenney. It is a real privilege to welcome you today to our premiere broadcast for Walking for Freedom, a Juneteenth discussion with Dr. Opal Lee. I'm going to jump into some questions, but before we do that and meet Dr. Lee, I want to take this moment to announce that as part of our Hope and Wonder Juneteenth collection, JCPenney will be donating $100,000 to Unity Unlimited, the nonprofit organizing partner for Opal's Walk for Freedom, a Juneteenth celebration, and we'll hear a bit more about that later. It's a real pleasure to meet you, Dr. Lee, and I look forward to the discussion.
Andre, I tell you, I'm so happy with your announcement. I could do a holy dance, but the children say I'm only twerking. But thank you and JCPenney. I thank you.
Well, thank you. It is a real honor to have this discussion. Let's jump right in. I'm going to try to read these questions to make sure I get them correct, if you allow me to. Let's get going. This is a very special Juneteenth because while last year was the first year Juneteenth was an official national holiday, it all happened so fast. There was no time to organize special events around the country. Tell us about Opal's Walk for Freedom. What are your hopes for those participating on the day? What can they expect? What do the walks symbolize for you?
Andre, it symbolizes freedom. I don't know what else to say, but it's been a long time coming. And I'm not just talking about freedom for the Black people. I'm not talking about freedom for people in Texas. I mean, we've held that close to our vest so long. But we're talking about freedom for the nation.
You were present at the White House when President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, marking Juneteenth as a new federal holiday. You were quoted then as saying, "Now we can celebrate freedom from the 19th of June to the 4th of July." What are your hopes for this combined celebration of national freedom?
You see, people think of Juneteenth as a festival, but there are more components to it than just a festival. We do a flag raising. We do a breakfast of prayer that's not to be confused with a prayer breakfast where you sit and eat a lot of food. Oh, the one we had Juneteenth, this past Juneteenth, as the children would say, it was off the chain.
Part of your work now has been devoted to the founding of the National Juneteenth Museum right here in Fort Worth. Tell us about your hopes for the museum and what it will mean for the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Well, I gotta just tell you what I've told them. Now, I know that museum is going to be, I'm gonna use this word and I know it's wrong, It's going to be scrumptious because it's going to include everybody in these 50 states and other places too, because there are Juneteenth celebrations all over. I think back when Dr. Myers, and you need to know Dr. Myers is responsible for 43 of the 50 states having celebrations or observances. You need to know that he was a minister, he was a physician, and he was a jazz musician, all rolled into one. And I think a little bit of him rubbed off on me because he was adamant that Juneteenth be a national holiday. And I sort of hope he's looking down and is pleased that now it is a federal holiday.
Thank you. In addition to your work at the national level, you are a board member of the nonprofit here in Fort Worth called Unity Unlimited. For our DFW home office teams, tell us about Unity Unlimited and its programs and how JCPenney Associates might get involved.
I hope you got the time, because you're going to have to hear that we have a food bank that is servicing some 500 families a day. We started it because the one I belong to burned. And there's this huge facility behind the house where I live, 32,000 square feet plus. And I asked those people for that facility, and they leased it to us for $4,000 a month. I nearly had a hemorrhage. Where on earth are we going to get it at $4,000? But we did. For 11 months, we paid that amount. And the 12th month, when we didn't have it, the people who owned it came to us and said, "You're doing a good job in this community. You're serving 500 families a day. We're going to give you this facility." Now, that's when I did a holy dance.
It seems that creating change is easier said than done, especially as a solo change maker. But when it's time to include other people in the vision, the mission, and the call to action, that's when things get really challenging. How would you recommend mobilizing a group of like-minded individuals to move in unison to achieve big goals like the one you were able to achieve through your walks for Juneteenth?
I want to tell you that it's not big goals, it's small things that end up bringing us together. Would you believe just to smile at somebody and let them know that you're on the same page that they are on? To help a mother who's got children, keep them so she can go to the store or to the cleaners. Help an old person like myself across the street or get into church. These are small things, but adding up, they mean so much to all of us. I just know that working together, and that's our goal. I keep saying to people that we can't depend on the government or the city or somebody else. I say, make yourself a committee of one. Change somebody's mind. You know people who aren't on the same page you are. Not going to take a day or so. You have to work at it. And if we took 1,500,000 signatures to Congress, and we were ready to take that many more when we got the call to go to the White House, don't you know 3 million people on the same page could turn this country around.
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Lee, for your generosity, for sharing your thoughts, for sharing your experiences and your insights. We are deeply honored, and we are also very excited because we will be joining with you in Fort Worth on Saturday, June 18th, for Opal's Walk for Freedom. We have a great group of JCPenney team members who look forward to celebrating the big day. For those of us who might be signing on a broadcast in advance of Sunday, June 18th, you can go on to www.opalswalk.com for information on how you can celebrate Juneteenth with Dr. Opal Lee, wherever you may call home. And I want to sign off by saying I am deeply honored, deeply appreciated, and really, really value the time we spent. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you youngsters